this is from several months ago, but it's important now because of what I've been reporting on in terms of the U.S. backed coup in Pakistan, which we've seen the leaked documents from The Intercept. I covered those the other day. Leaked documents showing that the U.S. was pushing for this lawfare coup that got, that made up charges against Imran Khan and got him kicked out of the prime ministership and then chased him around the country, ultimately landing him in prison where he is right now. And the U.S. has supported all of this. Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, the other day congratulated Pakistan on their free and fair elections, their upcoming free and fair election after a U.S.-backed coup. That's right. A good old free and fair election after a U.S.-backed coup. So this journalist, now that initially started over a little over a year ago, right? When Imran Khan was first kicked out of the prime ministership via vote of no confidence. And we've now seen the documents that the U.S. was behind closed doors pushing for that to happen and aligning it. And the military, as in a lot of countries, but the military is basically gives the go-ahead for such things as that. So the U.S. was, basically once you win over the military in doing something like that, the rest follows in Pakistan, at least from what I've been told. So the U.S. backs this coup, helps create this coup to kick out Imran Khan. This journalist, Sharif, let's see, what's his full name? Ashad Sharif. So popular journalist in Pakistan, had a TV show and had reported negatively on the military for a while. And then had all these, following the kicking of Imran Khan out of the prime ministership, they then brought all these charges against this journalist. So he fled the country, and he ultimately fled to Kenya. And then in Kenya, he was assassinated by the Kenyan police. They fired a lot of bullets into his car, killing him. And so here's the Al Jazeera article, which on something like this is going to be less propagandistic than any U.S. article. The killing of a Pakistani investigative journalist in Kenya was a planned assassination, a team of Pakistani investigators have said in a report released on Wednesday. Arshad Sharif, who was critical of Pakistan's powerful army, was killed when police shot at his car on the outskirts of the Kenyan capital in late October. Nairobi police later expressed regret over the incident, saying, and this is classic, saying it had been a case of mistaken identity. They were searching for a similar car in a child abduction case. Because there's so many things wrong with that. If you're searching for a car in a child abduction, do you shoot at the car? Not, was it at least 9 times, or was it 9 shots that hit him? But at least 9 times. So you're like, we think that might be the car with the kid in it. Shoot at the car. What are you, fucking out of your mind? You're shooting at a kid in a car. What? So their excuse is just utter nonsense. But even if it weren't a child abduction case, even if it were like, we were trying to catch a guy who was involved in a murder. Okay, do you just start gunning down cars that might look that one's a sedan also? Shoot at it. It's utter insanity. But the truth is, this guy was running, and not only was he running, but he was not updating people on his location, didn't even tell his apparently mother and wife or girlfriend where he was. It's not like he was doing live streams. I'm running from the cops. Here I am. No, this guy seriously feared for his life and ran to Kenya from Pakistan and did not tell anyone where he was going. And he's then gunned down in Pakistan. And now this investigation said, oh, yeah, this was a planned assassination. The 49-year-old journalist was living in exile after he fled the country in August to avoid arrest in the wake of multiple cases, including sedition charges, slapped against him for making comments on his show deemed offensive to the military. Okay, but here's the thing. if the military was, this gets to the update. Why am I updating you on this now when he was killed several months ago? If you are the military and you brought these charges against this guy, yeah, you might want him in prison, but you aren't going to chase him around the world to murder him if what he's said has already been said. Like, they were mad. This is arguing, they were just mad at him for being anti-military, and so they wanted to imprison him. Well, the reason you would imprison someone or kill them is to stop them from saying future things. But this guy was already not broadcasting. He was already on the run. He wasn't saying anything publicly at all. And yet they still made a deal with the Kenyan police to murder him. Why? Well, from Pakistani experts that I've heard interviews with, he had access to the documents that The Intercept has now put out, showing the U.S. involvement in this coup against Imran Khan. Now, The Intercept is where I got it, and most of the world has now seen it, but many believe that this guy had those documents proving U.S. involvement. And now, certainly that doesn't prove the U.S. was involved in this assassination just because the U.S. facilitates a coup in Pakistan, and then the Pakistani military does not want it to be shown that they were listening to the United States. They don't want to be shown that the U.S. is dictating those type of moves. So the Pakistani military very well could have wanted him dead before he could release that document, even without any acknowledgement with the U.S., connection with the U.S. So this is not necessarily a U.S. assassination. But even if that's the case, this still wouldn't have happened without U.S. involvement. There never would have been a coup of Imran in 70% of the world's countries. And most of the ones across our history, 70%. And most of the ones that we haven't been involved in a military intervention, it's because they were already aligned with us anyway, like Australia and Canada and shit. So we are a massive empire, and the ripple effects of the harm we do is this type of shit. Journalists assassinated. We also show the way we, expect other countries to treat journalists by the way the U.S. government has treated Julian Assange. We say to countries around the world, by our treatment of Julian Assange, we say, this is cool. This is fine. To have a journalist locked up for fucking 11 years, to have plans to assassinate them that we now know about. While Mike Pompeo was head of the CIA, they were planning to assassinate Julian Assange. If that didn't work, or if they changed their mind, they were planning to kidnap him and imprison him. They're still planning to torture him, and they have been torturing him with solitary confinement, and their goal is to extradite him to the United States, where he can be more effectively tortured. And that is a giant banner to the entire fucking world. This is how you treat a journalist that doesn't go along with what you're saying. This is how you behave. We have no moral high ground. This is fucking zero moral high ground to tell anyone how to treat journalists. And that's why it's so ridiculous when we point to other countries and we go, you're treating journalists wrong. Well, yeah, they fucking shouldn't do that. If any country's treating journalists wrong, they fucking shouldn't do that. But the United States can't say anything because of the way we treat journalists. We also have, lawyers like Stephen Donziger were locked up. We have nonviolent activists locked up here in the United States, like Jessica Reznicek. We have journalists like Mumia Abu-Jamal, who are framed and then put on death row. We show the world how we treat journalists on a daily basis. And then the world thinks that you have U.S. approval with that. Now, whether U.S. approval should mean anything nowadays, probably not.